what's up, everybody? I'm on the west side. Heading downtown. Gotta go to 14th Street, drop off a box. And then after that, I gotta go to Bronx. Gotta go look at a parking garage or something. They want to put a bunch of wireless access points in the garage. I'm not sure why. Parking lot, 4-level parking, or 3 or 4 level parking structure. Thank you. Thanks. Well, there's no way you're going to make that light. No way in hell you're going to make that light. So I got a P-Wag lock because I was just a little bit freaked out about how fast they cut the chains. And I was wondering if anybody's got any reviews on the P-Wag, or if they've had any real-time theft attempts with the P-Wag chain. Because I put a P-Wag, there's some kind of like Vitro or something, like a Italian-made lock that comes with it. And it was about the same price as the New York lock. Forget about it. New York forget about it lock. Which, you know, they saw through pretty quick. It doesn't really buy you much time. You know, if they got a brand new grinder, they're going right through that. It's a good chain though. You know, it's a heavy duty, but you know, it's good for like, you want to lock up your bike, and anybody coming by with a cut, like a clamp-on cutting tool, is not going to do anything to you. They can't deal with it. I've seen guys pull up, like I saw 2 guys pull up with a big bolt cutter one night, and they took a look at it, and they tried, but there's nothing they could do. as long as you have a decent lock and chain, same type of material, they can't get through that. Well, any of the grinders in a van is gonna get through real quick. They got that whole game figured out. You know, they just they've been doing that for years in New York. Come through with a van. So basically, and I thought maybe I was checking out, like, I went to 2nd Avenue at Fly E-Bike and looked at some of their, like the Marshall 150 and stuff. But I was talking to some guys there, and those are thefted just as aggressively as motorcycles. So, you know, driving around a Marshall, you're thinking it's a scooter, nobody's going to mess with it, but it's a 150cc scooter. Chinese, but still, it's got some get up and go. You know, anything with some get up and go that they can get away from the cops on, you know, they'll take it. They'll take everything and then figure out later what they're going to use it for. Like, either they're going to sell it, or they'll use, like, for example, a Marshall 150 to drive around in scout bikes. Because the problem is, going around in a van scouting bikes is not safe for them, because, you know, at 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning, you know, any one of those witching hours, you know, with someone going around in a white van that's stolen, and they're going around, that's not going to work out well at all. If they get stopped, you know, that's not going to work out. So they don't want to deal with that. They want to scout out vans that they're getting, and then they're just going to scout it out, and then once they get the van. I mean, they'll scout out motorcycles, I'm sorry. They'll scout out motorcycles, and then once they have determined that your bike is one that they're going to take, they're just going to get the guy in the van to come, the two guys, whatever. A bale of hay in New York. It's not something you see every day. So the van thing, you know, so the Marshall 150 may not be something that they're going to sell. It might be something they use as a scout vehicle. And it's fast enough where if NYPD try to stop them, you know, they don't have to pull over mercilessly like on a little 50cc or, you know, something that can't get out of its own way. They would have to stop. There's just no way around it, you know. You got a 50cc scooter, you got to pull over. I mean, what are you going to do? Try to jump on a cop? I mean, you could, though, but it would be, like, ridiculously slow, and it may not work out well for you. So generally, it wouldn't be a good idea. But on a Marshall 150, hell yeah, Manhattan, you could bolt on a cop and just keep zigzagging through traffic, jump on the sidewalk, do whatever you got to do. You just don't stop, you know. And if anything gets in front of you, you just go around it. And that's what they do. That's how they work it. Now, has it gotten impossible to keep a bike in the street in New York? Probably, yeah. I would say. I don't think you can reasonably do that unless, you know, you got a setup where you got like a camera in front and you can see what's going on, and you get alerts, and you got GPS and AirTag and all that shit, and you got to recover the bike within 30 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be, they're going to start finding that they're pretty much they're good at finding stuff, and especially like in an XR, there's not tons of places you can hide it unless you do some kind of construction. But they're already, like, you know, digging around the bike within the first 15 minutes in the back of the van. I've recovered this bike within 30 minutes, and I used my own car to block them in, and then they just said, listen, man, they were young guys too. They're like, just take the bike and let us go. And then that's what I did. But I do agree with people that say, you know, parking your motorcycle in the street is technically impossible now. Overnight, yeah, it kind of is. I'd be lying if I said that, you know, I got a good handle on things. You know, I just have a setup where I do work for the building, so I've got a Blink camera, I got their camera, I got everything, you know, everything I need to alert me if someone's hanging around the bike. So I know if someone's congregating around the bike. I already know that, you know. I got that all worked out. But that doesn't mean that you can always do that, because the Blink, you know, like the last time they tried to take this bike, they came at a weird time. They came at 6:15 a.m. And I was turning my Blink off at 6:15, you know. No, 6 a.m. was when I turned it off. So 15 minutes later, they were trying to take this bike. So I wouldn't get alerts to that. So the only thing that alerted me was the Manimoto called me on the phone. And then if you have too sensitive, like Invoxia, that's a really good. That one gives you like a tilt alarm, and but that's gonna be alerting your phone constantly, because it has like perimeter, which goes off all the time if the wind blows, you know. So you're gonna have to like snort coke and look at the camera fucking all night, and every night. How long was that gonna last, you know? So that's not going to work out. You know, snorting coke and looking at a camera, how long can you do that for? So I get that whole scenario. Yeah, so that whole scenario, plays out, but the reality is you cannot park a bike in New York, a motorcycle in New York, and not think about it. It's going to happen. You're going to have problems with doing that. Thank you. Guy's got some huge mud flaps on there. But if you got the right setup, yeah, you could technically park a motorcycle overnight in New York. But I'd like to hear back from people if you've tried the PWAG locks and chains. What have you discovered? How's it worked out for you? Be interesting to know. How long is it taking for them to cut through? Have they gotten through? Have their blades? Because the way I see it with the PWAG, if you start cutting on with an old blade, you're gonna have problems. It's gonna wear down too quick on your blade. You need a brand new blade. All right, everybody. See you on the next one.